And so I kind of like looked at it and was like, okay, is this going to be another one of those things that I kind of put on the back burner, or is this something that's going to basically get my attention?
Hey, it's Joel Erway here. Welcome to another very special episode of Sold with Webinars. And today I am super excited because we've got a guest on our show today, a guest who has an incredible story, who has been crushing it inside of our high ticket courses community. And she's been sharing her results. And I wanted to have her on the podcast to kind of talk about her journey, talk about her results. Her name is Karwanna D, and I've been watching her journey over the past couple of months as she's been inside the program and as she's been executing and implementing, and this story is going to be amazing. So I know if you're listening right now, hopefully it will provide some sort of inspiration for you of what you think is possible for your own business once you get this dialed in, once you get your power offer dialed in, once you get your mini webinar dialed in. I am excited. So without further ado, let's jump right into our conversation. Karwanna, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to share the results of this amazing program that you put together. I'm really excited today.
So why don't we start? Let's give our audience, give our listeners a little bit of background about who you are, what you do, who you serve, what your program is.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm Karwanna D. I'm a business growth strategist and certified business coach. I work with small business owners, particularly those who are women-owned and minority-owned small businesses, teaching them how to grow their business with government contracts so that they can have consistent, sustainable income for their business. And so these are contracts that are already set aside for small business owners. And it's by the government. And most people don't even know that they can sell their services to the government, which is like one of the top paying clients that any small business could acquire. And so that's what I teach in my program. And it really wasn't an easy concept to just, kind of figure out how to sell that and how to market that. But thanks to your program, I'm really excited that, the word is out and, the sales are rocking and people are being empowered and getting those transformations.
So tell me a little bit more, okay, about your actual offer, like your actual transformation that you help your clients get. So when you say selling your services to the government, what does that mean?
Yeah. And so just like, let's take catering for an example. So caterers, they do events, right? They sell the services at events. They may have like a food truck on the corner. They attract people from the public to buy their food and things of that nature. So when positioning your business as a government contractor, now this caterer can land a government agency. So you can be selling your catering services, and this is just an example, to the city, right? To city and county of where you are, to the state, like to the Department of Transportation, to the airport. Like there's many government agencies across the US, but you have to officially become a government contractor in order to sell your services to the government. And that's a process to that, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But basically, so in order to become, a government contractor, you have to take a few different steps. But when most people think about government contracting, right? They're like the government, they think of it as this whole entity that you could never even think about or phantom as a customer, but you want to think of them as like a potential client, And so it's really simple. It's just like changing your mind about what you think about the government, and if you can do business like with the city, a lot of contracts are either funded by the federal, the state, or the local government, because those are the three levels of government. And so, so you get an opportunity to do business with a major player in the game.
So for your customers, right, it's a big mindset shift for them. And also, like, does the government pay better? Like, is it a different size contract? Like,
absolutely. I'm going to give you some examples. Like first, I'm going to start with like where I started. Like because my contracting business that I do with the government is like multimedia stuff. So I do photography and video production and graphic design and web design for the government. But before I got into that, I had private clients and small businesses. And so it was a chase, trying to keep up with the number of volumes that I needed to have in my business with customers. Like I felt like I was chasing consistent customers, but it was difficult to have consistent, sustainable income by chasing individual customers. And so I learned from a colleague of mine who was able to grow his business from zero to a multi-billion-dollar business in construction. He was getting government contracts, and I was doing like media services for him. He's like, hey, you can sell those same services to the government. And so my first contract was $70,000 that I landed with the city and county of San Francisco, and it was for 28 days of work. And so we're thinking about like how powerful that is, because 28 days of work in photography services, and that's like 2 hours, right? So that's less than 60 hours and getting paid that type of income. And so recently, one of my recent clients that I work with, who does security guard services, he landed a contract with the city, and it's like a multi-million-dollar contract, actually generating $70,000 a month, right? So he has like the staff and the capacity to handle that type of a contract size. But in essence, like basically, yeah, you get paid a lot more, from the government than you would get paid from an individual person or a small business, because they do pay you, and they pay you the value that you pretty much deserve, right? And then whatever you quote them based on the scope of work that you have to provide. So the government has money, they do have money, and they have like obligations as well to get that money out of their desk, like off of their desk, out of their books, like by the end of their fiscal year, and they're looking for small businesses to give it to. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of small business who are aware of like these opportunities, and you can do anything from real estate to building websites to, like catering, janitorial, construction trades, like you can sell paper to the government, right? So they buy office supplies. You can sell water to the government, and they have these huge $500,000 contracts just to provide bottled water services. And so like, yeah. And I also saw a contract for this is a really amazing example for a hairstylist, right? So we're really thinking outside the box, right? So a hairstylist, they had a $200,000 contract for a hairstylist to go into the prison to do hair for, I think it was 2 weeks to do hair for $200,000, right? For the women prisoners. And so that's a federal contract. And so I don't know any hairstylist that's getting that type of income, but yeah, to answer your question, yeah, you get paid a lot more. You get paid, and it's a quick way to really grow and scale your business in a very short time.
Where did you come up with the idea to teach this as its own separate offer?
Because like I decided to create a program, because like, although this information, like you can Google government contracts, you can Google procurements, you can Google like small business contract, all this stuff, but the information was everywhere. It's all over the place, and it's not one place where you can learn it all. And so because of the impact that it had on my life, completely changed my life, like completely changed in my life in every aspect. The effect that it had on my life, I decided that I want to teach other people this. And so that's why I do it, to empower other people with this amazing information. Although it's public information, they don't know. And even getting started, it took me a long time to really understand. It's like learning a new language, because there's a lot of acronyms involved in government contracting. There's a lot of different lingo. And so the years that it took me to really learn and understand fully, how to navigate the government contracting space, I decided I can teach someone that, right? And I could teach them the very, very basic key things that they need to know to be successful and to get a contract like within the next 3 to 6 months. Like if they apply, the strategies appropriately and they execute and take action, they can really grow their business in like a 6 to 12 month period.
I'm about to message my team and tell them that we're starting a government contracting arm for mini webinars. Do you think they sell mini webinar contracts?
Well, I mean, like for marketing, like you could definitely sell marketing services. You can actually definitely sell some services teaching them about how to put together like webinars. Because of course, they're trying to figure out how to do webinars now, especially with like COVID and everything like that. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you can sell to the government. It's amazing.
So how long have you been running this program? How long has this program been live for you?
I actually started in 2017, like March of 2017, I started this program. But when I initially started, I didn't really understand how to market it. And so it was like a learning curve, a huge learning curve. I didn't know anything about landing pages, anything about webinars, anything about courses, coaching. I didn't know anything about anything, but I was determined to learn. And so, I just kind of like took some baby steps to learn how to put it all together. And even like 2 years after I initially started, I was still like trying to figure out how to make it work like clockwork, easier, like how to put a system in place to make it, to have people coming to me. And that's kind of like when I saw like the mini webinar ads on Facebook, and I'm like, this is exactly what I need, like how to do it. Because I had done webinars, like, but of course it was like the long 45-minute to an hour webinar, and you feel like you're talking too much. And then you lose people once you make your offer eventually, right? And so I'm like, it got to be a better way. So when I saw like your ad about mini webinars, it was like the perfect opportunity for me. And I'm like, hey, I think I was going through some things at the time, but I was like, I missed the opportunity. But then I was like, hey, I still want to get in. And so you was like, hey, yeah, I'll reset my website and let you in at this offer, this amazing offer that you provided it at. And so, yes, since then, I would say things just it just exploded. Like my business kind of exploded. And I don't know if there's a certain area you want to talk about that in, but like it kind of exploded. It really did. I had to actually create, like, from my coaching program, I actually had to open up additional groups, because it's like a 6-week coaching program, and in like every 6 weeks it'll turn over. But there were so many people that came out of the mini webinar, I had to open up a Friday group in addition to the Monday group. And so I have them all in rotation. And so now I'm ready to scale to even like the next level with like a course-based version, because it's like, keeping up with the capacity is crazy. Like it's something that I knew was possible, but I didn't expect it to happen that fast. And so
let's talk real quick about, you said you'd done webinars in the past. So like, take me through the journey of what you were doing before the mini webinar.
Yeah, so I had learned about like how to put together a webinar from another coach. That was like really the first investment that I made into my business, was from another coach who showed me how to build a webinar from scratch. And so basically it was just a lot of information about what the offer is, like basically the transformation, the benefits of learning how to do government contracting. But it was like a lot of talking, and I really couldn't figure out like what's going to make people say yes at the end, like what's going to make people want to take that next action step. And so the results wasn't really what I wanted it to be. And so I would get maybe like 30 people on a webinar, and maybe just one would opt in. And then I wasn't confident at the end as well. I really wasn't that confident, with my offer. I really wasn't confident. And so I would be like, hey, yeah, let me know, at the end, like, let me know if you're interested, instead of being bold and saying, hey, this is the next step. And so I really believe that even though like what I have to offer is an amazing offer, it's crazy return on investment, it's something that people can do for life, the messaging had to be fine-tuned, as well as I calling out the person that I wanted, my ideal client that I wanted to work with. And so with the mini webinar training and the program that you set up, it really helped me to refine my message and call out exactly who it was that I wanted to work with. And instead of this long these long messages that I was trained to create, like all of these these posts on Facebook that are like 1 million words and over a period of 5 days, and then we have the webinar, and then have the email sequence follow up. He was like, you don't have to do all of that stuff, And so yeah, the short power offer has been the most effective thing in my business. So now I use that, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I have all of this momentum. It's like, what else do you have? What's next, Joel? I'm waiting for what's next.
Credit cards out, ready to buy whatever I'm selling, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me about your offer, right? So what's the price point? And you said it's a 6-week program, but like, so what are you selling it at?
Yeah. So it's a 6-week coaching program where I teach you how to grow your business with government contracting. Over that 6 weeks, we actually work on officially becoming a government contractor. So we start with the basics, like What do you need to pre-qualify? And then we go through the socio-economic statuses that you have, which could be minority, a woman, a small business, a disadvantaged business, a disabled veteran-owned business. And so we go through all of that, the certification process. And so even LGBT. So these are all socioeconomic statuses that the government has contracts set aside for you, just for you, right? So we want to claim it. We want to go after that. So we work together in officiating you becoming a government contractor. And then I show you the strategies, like where to go to look for contracting opportunities, which certifications open up federal contracts, which certifications open up state level, and which certifications open up local level. So we go after all levels of government. And then you also have a complete strategy of, like, when it comes to RFPs, which is like a request for a proposal, RFQs, request for quotes, like the different types of contracting opportunities, what they are, and then how to respond to each one appropriately. So you have a full, complete strategy, blueprint, and roadmap to being successful in government contracting. And so all of that over a 6-week period, including a Facebook community where you get unlimited support by me, is a one-time investment of $49.97. And so it's a real amazing offer, right? Amazing offer. I have people who in the 5th week, a young lady who just worked with me over the, about a month ago, in her 5th week, she landed her first contract selling a software that she created, like an app that she created, to government agencies, the educational institutions for colleges, right? And so, and again, like the security guard who landed his first multi-million-dollar contract. And so, and they're doing better than me, because my focus is to empower other people, like to show other people. And so, yeah, so that is the investment into the program. It's definitely worth every small business owner. And by the way, according to the SBA standards, a small business owner is anyone that has under 500 employees and is generating under, like, I want to say average, about 14 million in your business a year, right? So that means a lot of small businesses are out there not knowing that they're considered a small business with these opportunities that are out there earmarked and streamlined for you. But also, if you're not even making 6 figures in your business, you're considered a micro business. And so there are contracts set aside for you as a micro business as well.
Interesting. So $5,000 for your program, right? When you first launched, talk about like the response, because I remember when you first started posting your results in the group, you were like, oh man, like you were flooded with applications, right?
Yeah.
What happened when you hit live, when you pushed publish on your ad?
Yeah.
The first time.
So like, I mean, I have, like, when I first push, live, went live on with my ads. I mean, like, I think I almost, like, in this 4-month period, like my goal was to get to 100,000 by the end of the year. Like I was able to get to 80,000 of that, like 89,000 of that in a 4-month period. So I'm like really, really close. I only need like maybe like 4 or 5 more clients, which I have my calendar is full, is completely booked. And so I'm really confident that by the end of the, mid this month, that I'm going to reach that goal. And so this is going to be the first time with my consulting firm that I've had such amazing results. Like even like I've invested in myself with other coaches, like throwing money at them, like help me. But this is the first investment that gave me extreme return, amazing results. And so, yeah. And the ad spend, like how much did I spend on ads? It's like less than 2,200 with like $89,000 in return of revenue. Right. And so huge. It's just amazing. I'm still kind of like in shock, and I'm like, what's next? Like, how do I scale from here?
So so you're spending, what do you spend, like $50 a day or $100 a day? Like you're probably not even spending that, because that's over 4 months. You're less than $2,500 in ad spend. So it's got to be what, like $30 a day or something like that on ads?
Now it is. Cause at first I started off with like, I want to say $15 a day. And so about a couple of weeks ago, I scaled it up to $30 a day. Because and then I was able to hire a sales team to take on the calls, because, all of a sudden I'm like always on calls. And so this free time that I had was like, I don't have that time. But now I have an amazing sales team that's, taking the calls for me, which allows me to be able to focus on my next level, like where I want to get. I want to do a lot more like media interviews and like public relations things, like, you know, getting into the press to kind of build my brand. But also I want to focus on the course-based version as well. So for those who aren't able to invest in the, you know, the 5,000 work with me live, you know, level, they'll have a course option, right? So
Yeah, you know, it's amazing. So you have a very unique offer, and like I remember reading your power offer, I'm like, damn, like like I know a good offer when I see one. I'm like,
yeah,
that shit's gonna light the world on fire.
that's correct.
And then you started posting your results,
Mhm.
and you know, obviously the results speak for themselves. And so, you know, you've
Yeah,
enrolled almost $90,000 worth of business into your program. Your
yeah.
cost per application has to be like $10, $20, something like that.
Or
Like,
yeah, it's probably around like 10. I mean, it's so cheap. And the crazy part about it is because I didn't expect, I mean, I really thought it was gonna break me with the ads, like, but it's not, because it's a very unique offer. You know, it's a very niche based, you know, opportunity. And then also like the other people that I saw in my space who kind of teach this, I've never seen one ad. So not one. And so I'm the only one, like I really created, and, you know, a space for myself and became like the authoritative in this space, because there's no one else who has ads and who's doing it on the level that I'm doing it.
so what is next for you right now? Like, where do you plan on taking this? I know you said you're gonna launch the course version, right?
Mhm.
So what's next on your plate?
Yeah, so so the course version, you know, media, like that's really my big thing, because I feel like if I can get into like those business newsletters and the, you know, business papers, and maybe like get some interviews on Good Morning America or Today or whatever, I feel like it's going to open up the doors for me to help a lot more businesses, right? And so what's next for me is growing a team and multiplying myself, so I can have other coaches and consultants teaching this stuff, because, you know, a lot of small businesses suffered, you know, during COVID, right? But I didn't. And a lot of the businesses that didn't are the ones that had the government contracts, because, you know, the government doesn't shut down, right? And so having those type of opportunities is very key. And so because I'm the type of person that love to empower other people, that's where I want to go. I want to take this thing that I have and that I created and, you know, take it to a higher level and help more people. And this is something that I can help globally because, you know, thanks to, you know, web-based softwares like Zoom, and, you know, I could do this stuff online and I don't have to just be limited to, you know, doing it in person. But also, you know, the next phase is like more speaking engagements, you know, like I can see myself being a keynote speaker at large events and just showing people this is the money. You could do what you're already doing, but let me show you how to get this pot of the money that nobody's touching. And so the crazy part about all that is, at the end of the fiscal year, which for the federal government, it kind of ends in like, I want to say it ends in July, right? Some agencies end in July, some agencies end at like at the end of September. At the end of their fiscal year, when they still have millions on their table and they're in the red line because they have to give that away. If you're a government contractor, that's when they start calling, hey, can you do this? Can you take this money? So they're begging for people to take this money. And they're not grants. So of course you have to do the work, you know, you have to deliver. But these are opportunities for you to get paid by a client that's saying, hey, I'm looking to spend money with you, right? So if you're in business to do business and to make money, then this is a client that you do not want to ignore.
That's awesome. When you were considering joining high ticket courses, like, and you watched the webinar and,
Mhm.
you know, going through the buying phase, like, what were your doubts? Did you have any doubts? Like, did you have any hesitancies? Like, what was going through your mind when you were
I
thinking
had
about
I
it?
had a I had a little bit of doubt. Not in the program, but in because like I had like over the past few years, like invested in a whole lot of stuff. Like if I see something I'm like one of those Facebook clickers. So they market everything to me because I buy stuff and
Yep.
I buy it. Like if you see my list of like courses that I bought over the past year, it's like this long. It's seriously a long list of stuff. Some stuff I kind of looked at and I'm like, and it still sits there, but I'm like, hey, maybe I'll use it later. But you know, I didn't want this to be another one of those things. And so I kind of like looked at it and was like, okay, is this going to be another one of those things that I kind of put on the back burner, or is this something that's going to basically get my attention, right? And so once I started going through the content and I saw how easy it was to follow and to implement and execute, I was like, this is it. And so once I put my actual webinar together, I'm like, okay, I can go through this whole little mini webinar, and it doesn't take long, and it's powerful, all the stuff. And then I already had like, was using like lead pages and stuff like that. So I already knew how to build that part out and
Yep.
just kind of duplicate this. What I love most about the mini webinar and the power offer is like everything is duplicatable. Like it's an easy system to implement and duplicate. So it's like dummy proof, right? There's no way you can fail unless you don't know who you are and what you're providing and the transformation that you're providing and who you can help. That's the only way that it won't work, is if you don't know, which means you have to go back to the drawing table, right? Ask questions. There's the community where people can help you, clearly and clarify, what your offer is and stuff like that. But otherwise it works, right? It definitely works. And so once I implemented and saw the results, immediately, like my calendar went from being completely hit and miss to being completely filled all the time. And then initially, before I knew that you did the upgrade about, sales message, like the texting part, like I had a lot of people not show. And so it was frustrating getting booked all the time, but then people not showing up because I felt like it wasted my time. And then when I just decided I'm not going to show up, thinking they're not going to show up, then they'll be texting me like, hey, are you coming? I'm like, yeah. And so once I implemented the sales message part, then the show up rate is like 95%, because now you're talking to people and getting them excited before the call. And then you're talking to them before the call, right? And getting them excited to get on the call with you. And so everything all the tools that you share absolutely work, like all the strategies, the system, the messaging, everything, it absolutely works. And so so that's why I'm like, what's next? I'm waiting. Like, I would rather spend my money with you than anyone else, because this is like the program that I got all the results. Like, in this business, I never even thought, like, I knew it was possible, but I never even thought it would actually happen. Like, this is a 6-figure business. Like, it could be a multi 6-figure business, like if I really dial up. And so
you have so much potential. It's ridiculous. Like it's I'm really excited for you. I'm really excited for you.
Yeah.
So your story is incredible, right? And I want people to understand, like, listen, overnight successes, while like we like to say that they happen, I mean, your overnight success took 3 years. You said you started in 2017, right?
Yeah.
I'll be the first to tell people, like, this really isn't for complete beginners. I mean, it can be, but like, listen, it's not gonna, like, I'm not trying to overpromise anything here. It's like, you went through the background, like you learned other marketing tactics, you saw what worked, you saw what didn't. Like, we all have those battle scars. But when you finally like understand what is really important, and this is what I'm trying to preach to everybody, the most important thing that you need in your business is your offer. And if you can get clear on that and just start marketing that, like, that is how you cut through the noise. That is how you 80-20 all of these results. And I love all the other marketers out there that they teach their own strategies, they teach launches and all that stuff, and they have a time and place. But I got my battle scars too, and that's where this all came from. And so I just love hearing these journeys. I love hearing these stories, and I love hearing people who actually like implement it, because it's, you can buy a course, you can put it on the digital bookshelf, just like a lot of people do. I'm a buyer as well, but I love hearing this journey. I love hearing this story. So what would be your one piece of advice to anyone listening right now who may be feeling stuck, or maybe feeling like, wondering how they can get their course to really perform like you? Like, what would be that one piece of advice you could give them?
I would say you have to believe in yourself, right? Like, really, I know this sounds very cliche, but you have to believe it will work more than anyone else, right? You have to believe in, and no matter what hurdles you come up against, you have to be willing to go through those hurdles, because sometimes it's going to take those hurdles to help you climb over the mountain, or maybe you need to go around the mountain, but you can't give up. Like, regardless of whatever the situation you're faced with, the best thing you can do for yourself is not give up. The most amazing thing I've done for my business is to invest in my business and to invest in information and knowledge from other people. This is information that I wouldn't have otherwise had, and so two brains together is always better than you trying to do it on your own. And so investing in yourself and getting mentors and coaching and all that stuff is very key. But yeah, definitely you have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe in the transformation that you do for others. I believe it was Zig Ziglar. He's one of my favorite success leaders. He said, if you spend enough time helping other people get what they want, then you'll always have what you want, exactly what you want. And so if you spend enough time helping other people get the transformation that they desire to have, then you'll always have what you want, right? And so yeah, so that is my advice to anyone that's getting started in business, whether you're in the beginning, the middle, maybe whether you're frustrated and you're trying to figure out the marketing piece. Yeah, definitely don't give up.
I love it. Karwanna, it's been such an honor hearing about your story. It's been such a pleasure. I mean, I love this journey. You have an amazing story. I'm glad that you're able to share it. Where can people find more information about your programs, your offers? Like, where can they check you out?
Absolutely. So qualifyforgovernmentcontracts.com. That is where you can find more information about the program, check out the mini webinar, and also get in contact with me. Again, that's qualifyforgovernmentcontracts.com. I also have a bunch of free trainings on YouTube. So it's youtube.com/Karwanna D, which is KARWANNA-D. And so from there, you can pretty much connect with me on any of the platforms. I have a what do you call those, podcast. I have a new podcast as well, audio podcast. So you can also, listen to the game that I give, because, I share a lot of information, tips, tools, a lot of resources on getting started with government contracting that any business owner that's a small business could, benefit from. And so, yeah, so those are the places where you can check me out.
We'll link those in the show notes down below as well, and so you can go check it out. Karwanna, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for jumping on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. And if you're listening right now, please go reach out to Karwanna. Let her know you heard her on Sold with Webinars, and give her some love. Let her know that you loved the episode, and we'll see you all on the next episode. Take care.
Thanks.